I gotta get it set up. Go ahead.
Okay. So we're here to deliver DSA's open letter to Greg Harms, the executive director of the shelter, the Boulder Shelter for the Homeless. They provide a much needed service to the Boulder community for housing people in, well, not housing, but providing shelter for people who desperately need it. The homeless population continues to grow as Boulder continues to get gentrified and people get priced out of housing. The shelter has a number of actually very dangerous policies that have resulted in one death already prior. Benjamin Harvey, who froze to death on Christmas Day last year for the crime of tapping on a window when he was a few minutes late for the shelter's arbitrary mail collection window. He was banned for a year and then froze to death on the park bench. And there's no way for shelter residents to get any sort of justice from the shelter. It's a private nonprofit, and and even though the city demanded that they have binding arbitration, the shelter said no, and the city council kind of folded. So they have mediation, but that just means both parties, the shelter and the resident. If there's any issue like someone getting kicked out for bullshit reason, which happens all the time, they have there's no way for them to seek justice. So our first demand is that we need binding arbitration for the shelter. Also, we need all current suspensions reevaluated, and every person, every resident who has been sent to the shelter through coordinated entry, which is their sort of high priority funnel to services, be readmitted immediately. It's really cold. I wouldn't be able to sleep out here. And third, we need people who have experienced homelessness, either presently or in the past, on the board of directors. The people that are living here should have a say in how it's run. So we are going to have some speakers talk about these issues, and then we're going to go and deliver a nice letter that's been signed by like 280 people and a number of orgs around northern Colorado, and we're going to go try to deliver it to Greg Harms.
Right.
Yeah.
Who isn't here but
air horn.
in the letter, right?
Where'd it go?
Does anyone else want to
Oh, it's over here.
Yeah, I think the best light is basically where these guys are standing. We should have speakers in front of them.
Did they kick us out from the door? Should we just read it there? We're gonna, oh yeah, so we're gonna read here and then go over there and deliver our song. Okay. Darren suggests that.
Sounds good.
Oh wait, let's get in order here. So, should we start with the talks?
Yeah.
Wait, but do we have all our... Eric, who's like a really good filmer, is supposed to be on his way. We're not totally sure if he is, but...
Okay.
In the meantime, can you answer a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you expect from Greg Harms? What would you like him to do?
We would like him to read our letter, acknowledge the issues with the shelter, and seriously agree and consider enacting our demands. Ideally, I mean, we need these changes to happen. We would hope that Greg Harms, being a good person, being someone who cares for the homeless, would take this very seriously. And yeah.
Have you had communication with him before?
We have. We notified him that we were coming. He sort of said, "Oh, I won't be there. You know, I won't be there that night. We can arrange a meeting at another time." So we're still here. He should, if he really cares about this issue, you know, he should show up. We hear that he's not here a lot, so I think he should work more. And but we will meet with him as well when that works for him.
I can't read this on my phone. Can you make sure you're in the light?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey.
Hi, Aaron.
Yeah. So you think it's better we give it up there than behind the gate? I just think we need to be on public
The
space.
true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members.
while we're doing most of it, and then only walk on their property to deliver the letters and they can't.
Practices that have led to people losing their lives in Boulder. A whole year has gone by since Benjamin Harvey's totally preventable death, and in spite of many recommendations made by our city council, made by community members, the Boulder Shelter for the Homeless and Executive Director Greg Harms have done nothing. So we are here tonight to demand that the changes be made.
Yeah, what do you guys think of doing it on the sidewalk? Darren says that's public property and we can do it.
It actually is.
And we just found out that one of the city council members like basically called the cops on some people that were living behind the Walmart on Diagonal Plaza, and they just started doing sweeps of that area. It's just disgusting that the impulse to punish someone, to kick them out if they're living on the streets, like it's like that's something they want to do, is disgusting. The impulse should be to help, to say, oh, we're doing something wrong, we're not providing housing, we're not providing shelter.
Right.
Like no one wants to live in a fucking parking lot, and nor should they.
I just checked and apparently it's 31 degrees. So I guess the emergency shelter thankfully is open tonight, but if it was just 1 or 2 degrees warmer than this, which is extremely cold, there would not be an emergency severe weather shelter. So anyone who had been suspended from the shelter like Benjamin Harvey was would not be able to have a bed for the night.
The decision is also made in the morning about whether or not to keep it open. So, yeah, and they don't change it if it becomes colder.
Who here thinks they could tell the difference between 32 degrees and 31 degrees? 33 degrees and 32 degrees?
Not me. I'd
All
be just
feel
as dead.
cold.
Yeah,
Just as dead.
yeah. I have gloves on and my hands are going numb.
Yeah, if I can add on the piece about the RVs getting kicked off, they got a trespassing charge, and it's not clear at all. In fact, it appears that the only person who complained was Bob Yates, city councilman, who's trying to make the police his own private security force against our homeless community. Because to actually enforce, for the police to actually enforce a trespassing charge, they need to get a complaint from the property owner, and it's not clear at all that that happened. And so it's very possible that these guys are getting kicked out on a false claim with no standing, such that legally they should still be there. So at 8 a.m. in the morning they're supposed to leave, and one of our city council members, Jill Adler-Grano, is going to be staying there with one of our housing advisory board members, Mason Moyer, to be there in solidarity with them. But it's quite possible that there could be legal action to defend those folks if we could get lawyers to do that.
Nice.
Alright. So I guess the plan is we're going to go to the sidewalk and speakers will speak and then we'll deliver the letter, ideally to Greg Harms himself, right? Alright.
I think we'll...
That's what's up.
Well, yeah, this dude is like looking at us.
That's definitely him. It's all wave. Right below you.
Up in the top window is the offending person.
At least watching us.
Does he look like that?
No. In office, you can kind of see him over there. An office window.